Just letting you guys know you can listen to my No Bleeps podcast anywhere you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Sesh. I can't believe this, you guys. James Charles has returned back to YouTube, back to his YouTube channel, and honestly, it's been a month long of everybody returning back to YouTube. Tati, David, Shane making it known that he's coming back to his channel, and now James. As we know, it was a really big story that James was messaging boys that were not of age, and there was a lot of debate because he kept saying that he was being lied to, and these people were telling him that they were a lot older than they actually were, and they were actually younger. And after a number of people had come forward with their stories about James, he made a video holding himself accountable and then took a break. I mean, this was a massive story that was not going away. I mean, he had come out with multiple statements and he eventually just needed to take a break because this was getting really out of hand and people were extremely concerned about what was going on here. And he claimed during his break he was going to be seeking help, and he has since now returned with a video titled An Open Conversation. And he says that he wanted this video to be an honest, unfiltered, raw conversation, and said that it would have been ridiculous of him to just come back to his channel and act normal and not address anything. So he wanted to talk about the past few months and what he's been doing to kind of better himself and help himself. And in order to kind of make it seem the most authentic, because he said he's been getting a lot of hate for his last video, seemingly scripted, he decided he was going to do a makeup get ready with me as he was talking about the situation. And he said that he didn't want to kind of undermine the situation by doing a makeup look. He just wanted this to be a natural, comfortable video for him and everyone. And I will add that he did end up deleting his holding myself accountable video. And this has a lot of people asking some questions. I've seen some comments that said, just curious as to why he deleted the last video. Really says a lot about the situation. The fact that he deleted his last video says a lot. People are wondering if he's truly changed and holding himself accountable if he deleted that video. But let me know what you guys think, because there are some positive comments in the video. So I'm just gonna let you guys know kind of what he said in his video, kind of sum it up, because it was a 30-minute long video. So basically what he says is that he knows that as the adult and the person with the platform, it's his responsibility to make sure he's talking to the right people, and he failed to do that, and he knows that. He addressed that people thought that James was gonna just like move on from the situation and think that this was going to be another thing that James can kind of move on from, not have to address and not look back on without learning anything. And he said that this has truly been one of the most important wake-up calls for him, and also the most embarrassing thing to happen to him by far. He does bring up 2019 Dramageddon and says that at that time he was accused of something he did not do and was able to prove everyone wrong, which I don't really know about that, because a lot of people have been commenting recently that they think that Tati and Jeffrey and Shane were right all along. And so I don't really know what to make of that sentence that he said in that moment. But anyways, James says that since 2019, he did change things about himself and how he did talk to guys. But obviously with everything that's come out, it looks like he made no progress since then, and that he understands how people could see that it looks that way. He's aware these stories and accusations will follow him throughout his career, but he knows it's his own doing and responsibility. He hopes he can showcase his growth as the years go on. And he mentions that there were stories about him that were spread while he was on his break that were just simply not anything that was factual, and that people were kind of just taking advantage of the situation to get clout off of his name, because anything that anybody posted saying that they talked to James Charles at some point in time during the time where he was on his break or he was getting called out, those people were getting mad views, mad followers, all this attention. So that's something that he was pointing out, and said that there was like a Twitter thread of like 20 people that were claiming that they had talked to James in some sort of way, or they had been affected by James Charles, and he said that that is just like simply not true.
I feel as though I have to say something because I am just not comfortable with this video, or really any video moving forward, allowing anybody, let alone my followers, to think that there are any victims of James Charles, let alone 20 victims of James Charles, because that is completely, unequivocally not true.
And says that he keeps hearing people say that this is a pattern. This is a pattern with James. Everybody's story sounds the same, and he understands how it could seem that way, and he understands what it looks like. But he says, once again, it's truly because like he was so desperate. That's why there's so many people and so many stories. He's just like so desperate to find somebody to be with, and so he was talking to a lot of people, and it just so happens like either those people lied to him, or some of the people that have come out and said that they talked to him didn't talk to him. The whole thing sounds like a mess, you guys, like a total mess. And he says coming out and like saying that he was desperate is embarrassing. Does say that there's also another pattern, and that's the pattern of people using James for clout, and that they get views and all that stuff just by talking about him. And it became kind of like a meme if you had talked to James and like posted your text messages with him or your snap messages or anything like that. He says some of those were faked, and it's horrifying because people that are seeing this stuff don't really know what to believe, and they don't know what side to be on. And he says he's not trying to be a victim or victim blame or victim shame. He wasn't trying to victimize himself either. He just says that he recognized that although he wasn't guilty of what he was being accused of, he knows like he wasn't totally like innocent in general, and he needed to make a change in the way that he was going about trying to find someone to be with. Which like the wording of that, the way that he said that was a little confusing, because he's like also saying that there's like no victims, but then he's saying he's not trying to victim blame, victim shame. I don't know. James did say in this video that he wasn't going to include any receipts. He didn't want to go there. He didn't want to make that type of video, the type of no more lies video that he had made in the past, where he put all these lies to rest and show all these text messages and all this stuff. And he said the reason why he wasn't going to do that is because he doesn't have them. He doesn't have the receipts. He says that these interactions that people are accusing him of having with people, either they were short conversations where he didn't think to take a screenshot, or just things that happened a really long time ago, things that were not of importance and he didn't think to screenshot them, so he just simply does not have any proof of this. And says that he does have some things, but he doesn't want to go there. And that he does know that he needs to work on things and work through a lot, in hopes that he can like show people that he is willing to like learn and grow. And he says that he wants to talk about the progress and the conclusions that he's made during his break. And ultimately says that he never should have said that he was desperate in his last video, because it became a meme. And it wasn't supposed to be an excuse for anything. He just kind of explained that he was just so eager to talk to people and wanted to kind of explain why. And he says that he felt like he was living this Hannah Montana lifestyle, where he was James Charles on YouTube and on Instagram and all these platforms. And he thought that on his quest to like find a boyfriend or somebody to be with, when he went on these dating apps or he was talking to someone in the DMs, he was talking to people as if like he was a normal person and treating it like a normal person would. And so he wasn't really thinking that the person on the other end was thinking, oh my God, I'm talking to James Charles. I don't know how this doesn't click for him, that the person that is messaging him might be like starstruck or know his reputation or might use him or anything like that. But apparently he was thinking that the way he was talking to people, they were just normal, having a normal conversation, like he was just a regular person, and didn't really recognize the power imbalance that was there in that situation. And James says that since all this, he says that he was going to be checking IDs, and he has been checking IDs, and he's also realized that he needs to be more careful with who he's talking to and how he's talking to them, and he can't be so easily accessible, and says that it's, quite complicated, and he's trying to be the best version of himself. And things that he's been implementing since all this is that he's having people leave their phones at the door because they try to take photos with him, and somebody made him uncomfortable and he like asked them to leave, and he said that they hit him. I mean, he said he wasn't trying to look for sympathy by saying this to people, but I mean, I guess he's like a little bit more aware that people will use him, so he's like trying to take extra precautions now. And he addressed the fact that a lot of people were saying, why won't James Charles just date a celebrity? He's famous. Why won't he just go for somebody that's famous? It would take, a lot of worry away from him that people were clout chasing or anything like that. And he said he would love to date a celebrity, but the options out there are really slim for him. And that is pretty much the reason that he gave. But he says that he's going to be more careful and he's going to be patient when it comes to meeting guys in the future and talking to people. So that was kind of that. And then he got into just doing a regular old eyeshadow makeup tutorial, which was very interesting. He was just like talking about this really serious stuff, and then he was like, all right, let me get my lunar beauty palette out. We're gonna do this eyeshadow look. I mean, it was definitely interesting. And then he was talking about how he had this great birthday party. He like did a little mini Coachella for himself, and he had all this fun on his break playing with Legos. And I was like, okay, all right, this is interesting. And he ended it by saying that he wanted to make more videos that were a little bit more personal, that showed his personal life more and showed people who he really was, maybe curse more on camera, be more him. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what he said, you guys. I mean, I don't really know how you guys are feeling about this. It definitely was a really weird video in terms of comeback videos. I've never seen anybody do a makeup tutorial comeback video. According to the comments, like, the opinions are all over the place with how they're feeling about James coming back and him addressing all the stuff that's gone on. A lot of people feeling like he's still not taking full accountability for a lot of the things that he was being called out for. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.